What's up, guys? Doc Ito here with your Alita update. The doctor is in today. Another great day for Alita. We are talking about the box office numbers. We have jumped nearly $2 million from the numbers we had yesterday at Box Office Mojo. I do a deep analysis on what happened and what happened to that correction from last week and the $1 million that was lost. Also, we're talking about the Blu-ray pre-orders, and we may have some news from a release date standpoint, as well as good news for our friends down under. This has been a great week for Alita. Twitter is back. Are you prepared for battle? In theaters now. The tweet has reached 2,000 likes, a ton of retweets, and a ton of comments. And not only is this a one-time thing, Alita Battle Angel is also retweeting fan art just like before. Great news for sure. And of course, the Instagram is back too. They just want to get into the action. Couple reminders. The petition is over 12,000. This is a huge day. We actually are getting faster and faster, going up with more and more people signing it. Great news. Let's keep up the support and keep up the fight. And remember to like and subscribe to the channel so Doc Ito can keep bringing these free repairs. Like we talked about yesterday, the fact that the Twitter is back is a huge sign for Alita. I think this means that the Blu-ray pre-orders are about to go through. It means that behind the scenes, James Cameron, 20th Century Fox, and Disney have figured something out. They've hired someone to run the Twitter and Instagram accounts for Alita, and I think they're working on the Blu-ray pre-orders. Easy, or Ezzy, someone from Australia should correct us. This website is an Australian website, and their pre-order has gone live for the Blu-ray, and this also applies to New Zealand. Now, interestingly, if you notice, their pre-order date is Wednesday, 17th of July. So I don't know if there has been a change in the pre-order date for the movie for July. I called 20th Century Fox today again, and in their system, they still have a May 15th drop date, but this is what it is on this website, July 17th. And Amazon.co.uk still does not have the movie available to pre-order, but it does have a release date also in July of July 29th. So is it possible that it's been delayed? I don't know. I think it is a possibility. On DVD release dates, it's still listed at May 2019, but we will have to see. Does it make sense to be in July? Well, let's take a look. Right now, if the Alita pre-order dropped tomorrow, it would be about 57 days after the movie was in theaters and only 32 days before the tentative street date. As you see, on average, we're looking at about a 76-day time for pre-orders to roll for a movie. And this time, I believe, is very important. Why? Say you're Best Buy and you know a movie pre-order is coming in. Well, you have to do a couple things. You have to order enough DVDs and Blu-rays. You have to set up marketing for the movie. If there's a big movie coming out, you want to buy poster board. You want to set up flyers out front. You have to figure out the space you're going to place the movie at. And if a movie that is not going to be successful is coming out, you are not going to spend money or precious room in your store for this movie. So these 76 to 80 days are used so that movies can generate buzz for pre-orders, but also for analytics, for a company to analyze and see how much space and how much marketing power they can put into this movie based on how many pre-orders there are and how many people walking into the store then would buy the movie. So if Alita only has 30 days to do this, there's not going to be enough time for poster board to be made, for orders to go through, especially when you're looking at a big corporate machine that has to get things approved through committees and analysis and things of that nature. If we say that the Blu-ray release date is actually July 14th, now we're looking at about 93 days, which is about in line with the other movies. Again, I don't know that July is going to be the release. Of course, we want the movie as soon as possible, but is it possible that this delay if it happens, would be better for the movie? There's also another aspect. You don't want the movie to wait too long from the time people saw it in theaters. And if you run those numbers, a lot of movies are exactly 88 days after the movie was released is when they get their Blu-ray release, on average about 94 days. If we go with the July date, this is 150 days from when the movie was released to when the Blu-ray would come out. Honestly, I think that's too long, and if we put in May 14th, we are down to 89 days, which is pretty much in line with all the other movies that are right at 90 days. So my gut feeling says we're probably still looking at May 14th. I hope they can get the pre-order up soon and do all the marketing. Our job will be to pre-order the movie and let them know with a loud voice that, yes, we do want this pre-order and we want this in stores all over with big Alita billboards the moment we walk into the Best Buy. And of course, even if the Twitter and Instagram are back, we will not be quiet. We will keep fighting. We do not stand by in the presence of evil. Though some may not want to hear about Alita, they will hear about it. They will hear from us with our mouths, with our keyboards, and with our wallets, because we love this movie and we are going to fight for the sequel. But overall, the fact that the social media pages are back and that there's motion in the pre-orders in a couple different areas makes me think that Cameron and his staff and his crew and Robert Rodriguez and the people at Fox and Disney are working on this movie. They haven't forgotten it. They have a plan, and it's great news, especially with the box office numbers. 403,505,632. How beautiful. How awesome. Especially since yesterday we were looking at 401.7. So this is essentially almost a $2 million increase from yesterday. And of course, if you haven't seen this video looking at why the numbers dropped for Alita, I found one other instance, one time in Black Panther that had anything similar to Alita. And of course, Alita's had it now a couple times. It's pretty dense, but if you're interested, do check that out. As of April 2nd, the four numbers stood at 316,393, which was a significant drop from the prior week of 317,741. We are now at 318,129, a massive increase over the span of a week. So let's run these numbers and see what exactly happened. The first drop occurred from 316.1 to 315.1, a loss of $1 million. Next week it bounced back up 2.5 or 2.6. Next week it fell again 1.3, and now it's back up to 318.1. These all occurred in this midweek update. I call these stealth edits because they disappear. Let's look at these numbers and just ignore this midweek correction initially. If we do that, when you calculate the rest of the world, ignoring China, where we know the actual Chinese numbers, we go from 11.7 million made one week to 3.9 to 3 to 1.1 to 0.4. This makes a lot of sense. It's not great for the numbers to drop how much they do, but it makes sense. It's in line with how movies operate. If we add in this drop, 180.5 to 182.5 to 183 to 185, the numbers come out like this: 11.7, 39, 2, 0.8, and then 1.7. This doesn't happen. You do not get a week where you make 800,000 and a week where you make 1.7 million. These numbers, the numbers that just came out today, the 403.5, this is consistent with no correction. The correction to me looks like it was completely reversed. We got all that money back and we are going forward to a great box office number. And this is very similar to what happened with the last correction, where including the correction made no sense, where if you just ignored the $1 million correction, it performed like a normal movie would. So I don't think this correction happened. I think it was a database fluke with the midweek update. I think we're still going to be watching these numbers. If they go down again, I wouldn't worry as much. And like I mentioned before, the actual number doesn't matter as much. If it's 402 million or 403, it's not going to make a huge difference to the studio. Obviously, we want it as high as possible, but in the grand scheme of things, we are still doing amazing. Let's take a brief look at the daily numbers. 23,000 on Tuesday, 18,000 on Wednesday, 70% drops or so. With the movie down to 311 theaters, it's very tough to do anything beyond that. We can still make a big splash in the weekend personally by going to the movie, so then each person makes a bigger impact per theater since there's fewer theaters, but it's very tough when you're down to 300 theaters. I've been keeping track of the Chinese numbers in my model. We are only getting about $4,000 a day the last few days in China. This is very little, and I don't think the movie's going to make much more in China. We're going to finish right around 133.2 million. Over the last 10 days since the last Box Office Mojo weekend update, the US made 443,000, China 73,000, and the rest of the world at 314. In the US, we're at 85.4, China 133.17, and overall, if you add in the money over the last few days, we're at 403.55. Running the numbers in my model, I think we're only going to get about another 300 to 400,000. So I think we're going to be right at 404. If we get above it, it's great. I don't think 405 is happening, but I would love it. And if anyone can make it happen, it's us. So we've had another great day for Alita. We have the Twitter back, the Instagram back. We have positive articles talking about a potential sequel, talking about how well the movie made at the box office. This has been great. Continue to fight for the movie. Continue to like and subscribe. Check out the links below to support the movie. Fight for Alita. We are not going to give up. We do not stand by in the presence of evil. We will keep following the situation, and we will update you. Y'all have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Doc out.